On this edition of Gameball NFL Endzone podcast, we're going to be doing a recap of what went down week 4, and we also got some exciting matchups in week 5 coming up in the NFL season. So let's get started. Only on Gameball NFL Endzone starts now. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Gameball NFL Endzone podcast, where the football season never ends. I'm your host, Michael Riley.
And I'm Marcus Young Genius Jenkins.
We're going to be doing a recap of what went down week 4, and we also got some good matchups going to week 5. So I'm going to pass it over to my man, Marcus Jenkins. What you got for us?
All right, we're going to start off with the Week 4 recap, and we're going to kick things off with the Rams taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams will come out on top in this one by a score of 35-30 from a Todd Gurley 53-yard touchdown catch and run with the go-ahead touchdown to seal the deal for that game. Jared Goff, though, talk about him for a second. Another solid performance for him. 21 of 36 in that game, 255 yards as well as two touchdowns to go in that contest. Todd Gurley, all-purpose yards. He was all over the place. 121 yards rushing, as well as 94 yards reception-wise. He would also score a touchdown in this contest. For the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, another solid performance. 20 of 36 on passing attempts, as well as 253 yards for him as well. And he threw three touchdowns in this contest. So he's had a pretty solid sophomore campaign thus far. Ezekiel Elliott, 21 carries for 85 yards. He would score in this contest. The Cowboys, however, were scoreless in the third quarter. How would you break down this matchup, and how were the Rams able to come out on top?
Well, the Rams have they executed a good game plan to get a win over Dallas. Offensively, they do nothing too much. They just kept it simple for Jared Goff, and all you need to do was get Todd Gurley the ball, whether it was running the ball or getting involved in the passing game. That's what you had to do to be successful on offense. The offensive line did a pretty good job of run blocking, as well as pass protect, keeping Jared Goff clean in the pocket, taking advantage of what the Dallas Cowboys defense gave to them, because their defense is not there. They're still suspect, and the secondary still has issues of communicating. So that's what I can tell from the Dallas Cowboys defense. Now the Rams took advantage off of that and pretty much scored points to win that game. So give it up to the Rams offense for getting better and better as
Mm-hmm.
the season goes, and give it up to the first year head coach of the Rams, because we would have thought this wouldn't happen, and everybody thought Jared Goff would be the bust. But
Right.
so
Yeah.
far, he's been proving us wrong week in and week out. As I was stating last week, that the Rams offense would make more plays than the Dallas Cowboys defense, and which they did. They got them to win. Now the defense did a very good job of keeping Ezekiel Elliott in check and forcing Dak Prescott to beat you. They did get some yards here and there, but when it came at the end of making plays, they was able to make in plays. The communication was well. Everybody starting to get into position where they need to be at, and
Mm-hmm.
also gap control, keeping Dak Prescott contained inside the pocket, which they pretty much did in the third quarter, and they kind of got away from that in the fourth quarter a little bit here and there. But when it came down to it making plays, they was able to make plays and win the game. Now, give it up to the defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips, because he is one of the top defensive coordinators ever in the NFL. A genius mind, putting the players in the right position to be successful. Aaron Donald is back on defense, helping them be successful against the run and pass. And also the secondary is stepping up big. So give it up to Wayne Phillips for getting his crew ready and getting them to jail and play good defense. That's how the Rams was able to be successful all phases of the football game to win, including special teams. Now let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys needs to find an identity. I thought I had to sneeze. Excuse me. The Dallas Cowboys needs to find their identity because last year they had that ground and pound. Ezekiel was tearing people up with the running game. The offensive line was doing a good job of blocking. And now you start seeing teams starting to figure out how the Dallas Cowboys offense is operating. So they're doing enough studying to contain Ezekiel Elliott in the box in the running game and keeping Dak Prescott in the box as well, so he won't roll outside, start making plays. So everybody is starting to pay attention of what this Dallas Cowboys offense is doing. So the Dallas Cowboys offense needs to find an identity. They're dealing with some injuries on the offensive line, and they have to shuffle here and there. But they still got to find ways to put up points because if they keep struggling like this, it will be a long season for the Dallas Cowboys offense. Now the defense is not doing too much better either. They're playing some, but at the same time they're still giving up big plays. They need to find a way to get off the field on third down. They need to make stops and first force more turnovers to win the game. And unfortunately, they wasn't doing that against the Rams, and it cost them a close game.
The LA Rams, definitely a different team than what they were a year ago in St. Louis. So definitely, they've actually made some serious strides since that move to Los Angeles.
Also, the biggest difference is Jeff Fisher is no longer the head coach.
Yes. That's definitely a note very well taken. Excellent point on that one as well. Once again, the Los Angeles Rams over the Cowboys, 35-30. We're going to jump into the second recap, Mike, and that is the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans. The Texans will win big in this one by a score of 57-14 in that contest.
Wow.
Deshaun Watson balling. That's the only thing that I can actually say about this. I don't know if most people expected him to be this good out of the gate, but he was brilliant in this game. 5 touchdowns altogether. 4 of those would come by way of passing, and he'd also have a rushing touchdown in that game as well. Tennessee scored all 14 points in the second quarter. They were held scoreless 3 out of 4 quarters. So an amazing job by the Texans defense in that game, obviously. For the side of the Titans, Marcus Mariota only 6 of 10 in this game for 96 yards. So he was definitely held in check, like you definitely like to say. He would also throw 2 interceptions in this game, including one for a pick six, which would have been in the fourth quarter for a 25-yard touchdown. What happened and how were the Texans so dominant against Tennessee?
Well, like you said, Deshaun Watson was balling.
Absolutely.
So you have to give it up to him. Now, the scary part about Deshaun Watson is he's going to continue to get better
Yes.
as the season progresses. So he's starting to look more comfortable in the offense. The Texans is doing a very good job of keeping it simple for him. Just let him throw some screen passes here and there, throw some short completions, and every now and then you take your chances down the field. And he still uses athleticism to extend plays so it gives players more chance and opportunities to make plays. The running game was sufficient. The passing game was excellent. And the offense is starting to click. Now, ever since he took over the starting role, now you start to seeing everybody gelling together offensively where they can be successful to win games, and that's how they was be able to dominate the Tennessee Titans defense. They took advantage of what they gave them, and pretty much that led to a lot of points. Now the defense played pretty damn good. They was getting to the backfield, stopping the run. They was forcing Martin gets Mariota to beat in the passing game, which that played into their favor. They was making turnovers, also got a pick six, and made the Tennessee Titans offense look foolish. So that was a recipe for success for the Texans. Now let's go to the Tennessee Titans. I don't pretty much got nothing to say. They just flat out were a bunch of bums on defense. So they didn't stop the run. They could contain Deshaun Watson because he was everywhere making plays and making them look silly. And they could not get off the field on third down. So the defense needs to refocus and get back to basics and tighten up the coverage more. because if you seen this continue going forward, they might not make the playoffs at all this season. So they have to straighten up a little bit. Offensive wise, it was just wasn't there. It was an off day for him, and plus Marcus Mariota was dealing with a hamstring injury during the game, so he wasn't himself. But you still gotta go out there and compete and
Hmm.
play ball. I feel like they didn't compete, and they just pretty much just said, "Screw it, we give up." So that's why I saw signs for the Tennessee Titans. They have to get back to basics. They had to get back to the fundamental footballs, and they have to get over this game quick and bury it. Otherwise, it could get worse as the season goes.
A huge, huge win once again by the Houston Texans at home also against the Titans once again by a score of 57-14. We're going to jump into the third recap, and that is the Oakland Raiders taking on Denver. That one was taking place in Mile High Stadium. Denver will hold on for a 16-10 victory in this game after a huge interception by Justin Simmons on EJ Manuel. Obviously, Derek Carr would go out in this game with a back injury, so that was a huge loss for the Oakland Raiders.
Hmm.
Beast mode. Once again, not very effective in this game. Only 9 carries for 12 yards, Mike. That's definitely not beast mode X, so to
No,
speak,
it's not.
at all. The Broncos are now 3-1 after that victory. What's going on with the Raiders?
Well, people are starting to take notice of the Raiders. After their first two wins this season, there's all these expectations about them being Super Bowl contenders. The last two games, they are Super Bowl pretenders, and defenses start focusing on more on the offense and learning how to stop them and force them to beat them in the passing game. The defense played extremely well. They loaded up the box. They said, "We dare you to beat us in the passing game. See if you can beat our secondary, which is the best in the NFL." And that's what Denver did. They was able to make plays on all phases of defense, stopping the run, rushing the passer, and getting turnovers. And that was a recipe for Denver's defense to be successful. Now, the offensive side, the offense has to do better moving the ball down the field and putting more points because this game got too close to where they could have lost it at one point, but their defense bailed them out. So one of these times, Denver's offense is going to have to make more plays than their defense because their defense may have a struggle here and there, and they're going to have to rely on their offense. So the running game needs to be more consistent, and the passing game needs to be better. And Trevor Senior has to get better as his progressions. He can't be throwing to double coverage like that because if he does, it could be an ugly game for him. So they got lucky this time, but going forward, you can't do that, and you have to get better and better. And I think he'll get better as the season goes. But right now, you need to clean up the turnovers, clean up the penalties, and get more production out of the offense. Keep your defense on the sideline so they can rest more and be fresh going back to the next series. For the Oakland Raiders, they're just not themselves lately.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly second best offensive line is getting held in check. They're getting beat off their blocks. Defensive players getting back to the backfield, and the pass game is not there as it needs to be. And Derek Carr with a small minor fracture back is a crucial blow to the Raiders offense because when he's not there, it's a different totally offense. So they have to get physical and beat the bullies of the opposing defenses. If they can do that and keep it simple for the other quarterback, then they'll be in closer games and score more points and find a way to win games. Now their defense, they was able to play well in this game. They was able to shut down some of the running game,
Mm-hmm.
and they was also getting pressure on the quarterback as well. The secondary was playing a little better, but at the end, they just couldn't make more plays than the Denver's offense, so that lost them the game. Going forward, they just need to work on their fundamentals. If they continue to get better in the fundamentals, then Oakland's defense can be up there. But right now, they need to get better going forward and get back to the drawing board to be successful.
And the interesting thing about this though is you lose Derek Carr. Beast mode once again was not beast mode, which I don't predict is going to happen very much longer for the season. You have all these things happen, yet you were still in the game. You only lost by 6 points, so it's only 16-10. So the question that I have is, despite all this, obviously losing your starting quarterback in Derek Carr, but you still have a lot of positives in this. After all of those things happening and you only lose by 6, if you're the Oakland Raiders, what do you do moving forward?
Well, you have to go back to basics quickly and get back to the fundamentals of what got you being successful last season getting to the playoffs. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to make your corrections, all phases, offense, defense, special teams, and you have to get better and better. And you have to play with more physicality, and you have to be able to be more explosive on offense. If you don't do that, then Oakland might find themselves having a long season, but they may not make the playoffs.
All right, we'll see what happens with the Oakland Raiders. Once again, they would unfortunately walk away with a loss in Mile High Stadium on the road, 16-10 in that contest, and once again losing their starting quarterback in Derek Carr. So we'll definitely see what happens with them moving forward. That takes us to our last recap of Week 4, and that is the Indianapolis Colts still without Andrew Luck in this contest. They will take on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle at CenturyLink Field, excuse me. The Seahawks will win decisively in this game by a score of 46 to 18, excuse me, improving to 2-2 on the season. Jacoby Brissett, the replacement for Andrew Luck, a decent game. 16 of 29 in pass attempts. He would also have a touchdown. He would also throw an interception, which would be a 28-yard pick six in the second quarter on them. Russell Wilson, 21 of 26 on pass attempts. 295 yards as well as two touchdowns. He would throw, however, two interceptions in this game as well. And the interesting thing about this was also the first 3 points for the Indianapolis Colts came in the expense of Russell Wilson being sacked in the end zone in the first quarter, but it didn't seem to taint their enthusiasm or their morale in that game. How was Seattle able to come out on top?
Well, it was close in the first half when I was watching this game, and the Colts was in it at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and they was able to take advantage of the opportunities that the defense gave them of Seattle, and they was moving the ball. They was able to get some points. In a crucial moment, they thrown a pick six, and that set them back. And their defense was playing well, but in the second half, it just got ugly. They wasn't making plays. They wasn't the team in the first half. They was basically imposters in the second half. So they just flat out got annihilated and got beat down all phases of the football. They could not score anymore on offense, and their defense was giving up too many points, and the special teams couldn't do jack. So they just need to get back to basics, and they need to be 4 quarters of the coach to be successful. If you can play 4 quarters and go out there and compete and make it close, then you can find yourselves in a close game, possibly winning. But that was not the case with the Colts and the Seattle Seahawks in the first half. They still struggle at the offensive line perspective. They cannot protect Russell Wilson if it's like dependent on it in the pocket, and they can't get their running game going and the run block game, and they had to rely on the defense to bail them out, which they did at certain points. But the offensive line has to be able to gel and protect Russell Wilson in the pocket because he is taking too many hits. If he keeps on taking too many hits, it could be a bad sign. And they have to get the running game going forward. They was able to put up points in the second half, but they have to do that in the first half, get that fast start, and get that protection going. Once they get that run blocking, the pass protection, and keep Russell Wilson clean the pocket so he can make plays, and they'll be fine. The receivers has to step up to make more plays. If they can step up and make more plays, they can put more points on the board. Now, the defense is Not there where it needs to be, but still Seattle defense. They can still stop the run, put pressure on the quarterback, and make turnovers and turn into points. Now we're used to seeing a custom Seattle defense of holding teams to under 10 points, and so, but it has been lately. They haven't been themselves, and when you're not yourself, you're pretty much in a loophole on the defensive side. So if the Seattle Seahawks can get back to that Legion of Boom defense
Hmm.
they were like in the past 3 or 4 years in the NFL, then they could be a scary defense going forward.
Once again, the Indianapolis Colts would fall in this one. Once again, without Andrew Luck, you can definitely tell that makes a difference when you
Oh,
when
big
your main
difference.
guys on the on the sideline instead of in there to go to battle with you.
Well, and communication is the problem. And I start noticing with the coach, they have to communicate better. If they can communicate better, then they can find themselves in close games to win.
All right, and with that Colts versus Seahawks game, once again, Seattle on top by a score of 46-18. Um,
Throttle.
Throttle, absolutely indeed. That actually takes us, and that will actually wrap up our Week 4 recaps of that
And
week.
we're gonna get to week 5, so let's get it.
Let's get it in. The first game that we're going to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cardinals go into this week with a record of 2-2. They are fourth in the NFC West. The Eagles are first in the NFC East this season, playing pretty well. They're 3-1. This game will take place in Lincoln Field in Philadelphia, so a home game for the Eagles. Um, Arizona coming off an overtime win against the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 18-15 in that contest through a Carson Palmer 19-yard score to Larry Fitzgerald with 32 seconds left in overtime. Carson Palmer would also have 33 completions out of 51, 357 yards and a score as well. So a pretty solid game for Carson Palmer. However, the Cardinals were interestingly held scoreless in the fourth quarter. Philadelphia, they're coming off of a close win, 26-24 over the LA Chargers on the road. Carson Wentz, a solid performance from him, 17 of 31 in pass attempts, 242 yards, and he would also have a touchdown in that game as well. What do you like about this matchup?
Well, it's gonna come down to who's gonna make the last play to win a game. And the Cardinals are not the team that they used to be. They used to be scoring points on offense like it ain't nothing, and their defense making plays, putting pressure on the quarterback, mixing up schemes, fooling the other offense, getting turnovers, and also turnover points, and so on and so on. And we're not seeing that from the Arizona Cardinals defense at all because they are shelling themselves. They done lost key players during the free agency, and they have players injured, and they're not where they need to be. Now they have to get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles is going to come out swinging,
Mm-hmm.
and the Arizona Cardinals has to be the first ones to throw the first punch and get the first points of this game. So they have to get the running game going. You have to get Larry Fitzgerald more involved in the passing game. Don't wait till towards the end or the middle, whatever. You have to get them started from the beginning. If you can do that, then you can be able to get some confidence going in the offense and get them rolling and be able to put more points on the board to win this game. Now the defense has to step up. If the defense steps up and creates chaos, then they'll be able to be in this game and help their offense be successful. Now I'm gonna go to the Eagles side. The Eagles been luckily to win two nail biters at the last minute. So they have to get off the fast start offense. They have to be aggressive going down the field. They have to take some shots down the field. They have to get the running game going early. If they get the running game going early, and that's set up to more passing plays and take more shots down the field. If they can do that, then they'll be able to put more points and get themselves some confidence going for an offense. Now the defense has to get better. They're giving up too many yards and too many points, and they can't do that. If they do that and they find themselves in a shootout, then it could cost them the game. So the defense has to be more aggressive. Go back to the defense that we once was of blitzing a lot, bringing more guys up the box, stopping the run, and also disguising schemes and blitzes to get pressure on the quarterback. And the secondary has to step up and do better. They're dealing with some injuries on the secondary, but it's time for the next man to step up and be aggressive and be physical. If you can do that, the Philadelphia Eagles can win this game.
Philadelphia 3-1 record. They have this game once again at home against the Arizona Cardinals, so we'll see if they take advantage of that home field advantage in that 3-1 record. That's going to take us to our second matchup, and that is the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently second in the NFC West, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. A surprising 3-1 on the season. They are currently first in the NFC West. Um, so number one versus number two. So that in itself is actually what makes it interesting in itself. Like we talked about earlier, the Seahawks winners over the Indianapolis Colts decisively. The Rams, obviously that 35-30 victory over the Cowboys. What do you like about this matchup the most?
Well, this is a matchup that we're all dying to see, and we're this is a matchup we can really find out what are the Rams about. Are they a phony team? Or are they for real?
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. And for the Seattle Seahawks, they have to get that offensive line squared away. If you don't get that offensive line squared away against this Rams defense that's playing good, and they also have Wayne Phillips as defensive coordinator, they could be in real trouble. So they have to find a way to get the offensive line squared away. You have to get the running game going, and you also have to get the pass game going. Keep Russell Wilson clean in the pocket, and the receivers has to step up and make plays. If they can do that, all phases on the offense, then they'll be successful to score points and wear out the Rams defense and win. Now the defensive side of the ball, they have to be able to make Jared Goff look pedestrian and make him look like a rookie again. So keep doing what you're doing. Uh, Being the Legion of Blue defense that you are, you have to get back there, and you also have to bring a little bit more blitzes here and there. Occasionally, they're not a blitzing team. They rely on that four-man front and let their linebackers do all the playmaking and play calling, going to sideline to sideline, and their secondary get a hold of their own. But this game, I'll probably bring a few more blitzes to see what the Rams can do. Make the Rams beat you. If you can do that, then they'll be successful on defense and win this game. Now, the Rams, offensively, keep it simple. Give Todd Gurley the ball. Feed him. Running game, pass game, wherever you got to do, feed the man. He's been balling for the past 5 games. So just keep giving it to him and keep going. Also, and you can't make mistakes against this Seattle Seahawks defense. If you make one mistake or two, that can cost you the game. So you have to be mistake free. You have to keep the penalties under the minimum, and you be successful against the Rams defense. Now the Seahawks defense. Now the Rams, if I were them, I would take a page out of what the Tennessee Titans did to the Rams of exposing their defense. If they can do that, then they'll be successful. And I'm gonna go to this defensive side of the park. The defense with that offensive line, take advantage of that. I'll bring the whole house if I was Wayne Phillips. I mean, just cause terror, chaos, confusion for Russell Wilson to be able to throw the ball in the passing game, and you must neutralize the running game. If you neutralize it and you make Russell Wilson beat you, then that could be a possibility for success. And also, Russell Wilson can extend plays. That could be a bad sign as well for the secondary. So the secondary has to step up and play big. If the secondary plays big and forces turnovers, then they'll win this game.
Definitely a great number one, number two NFC West battle. I can't wait to see this one because once again, like you said, this is another a big test for the Rams that have definitely found their way this year after being relocated from St. Louis. So definitely an exciting matchup. This is going to bring us to our third matchup, and that is the Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys.
The Ice Bowl rematch
Yes.
for 40-some years ago. Good rivalry. And who's going to win? We'll find out Sunday.
Cannot wait. The Packers currently this year 3-1. They're currently second in the NFC North. The Dallas Cowboys are riding a 2-2 record. They are second in the NFC East. This is also a rematch of last year's playoff game. For those obviously who don't remember, of course, the Green Bay Packers will come out on top in that contest. What do you like about this matchup in particular? This game also, just a side note, the Cowboys have an opportunity to maybe make this 3-2 as they are at home at Cowboy Stadium.
Well, first of all, the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to figure out how to stop that bad man, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because he is a one of a special kind breed quarterback. It's just something about him you just be exciting to watch.
Yes.
Because when he runs and throws off a shoulder throw or off a foot throw, he makes it look so easy and sharp and crisp to where the receiver can catch the ball. No other quarterback could do that like him. So that's a big praise for Aaron Rodgers. Now let's get to the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense, they're going to have a long day if they don't clean up their act and get things right. Because if they don't come correct and come to play, then it's pretty much game over. So they have to get back to the fundamentals of football. They have to get off the ball on third down. You have to make it hard for the Green Bay Packers on first. Dallas Cowboys can do that, then they'll have a chance to win this game. And their offense has to get back to their identity. Is run the ball. Feed Zeke. That's the key part. Yes. Feed Zeke. If you can feed him and get him going in the running game, then they'll be successful and wearing down the Packers defense. Also, the pass game has to be better. If the pass game can get better and Dak Prescott doesn't force turnovers and be himself, then they'll be able to win on offense and help this team win against the Packers. Now, the Green Bay Packers defense is playing outstanding so far. They are able to get to the quarterback. They are able to stop the run. And they also get some good turnovers on third down. So they have to continue to play that smash mouth physical defense. And Don Capers, the defensive coordinator, is doing a good job of calling different schemes and blitzes and different here and there so they can set up the defense to be successful on the Packers. So if they continue to do that, then they'll be able to win games and stop offenses from scoring a lot of points. Now, the Green Bay Packers offense, just continue to do what you do and give your playmakers to make plays. And the running game can be a little bit better. If you get the running game going better, then that'd be more balanced for the offense, and that'd be successful for Aaron Rodgers to make plays in the passing game. So if they can do that, then they'll dominate the Dallas Cowboys.
It's a big test. I can't wait to see this, to see Aaron Rodgers going to Cowboy Stadium. So this is definitely, if you're a Cowboys fan, this is definitely a game that you've been looking for. And another big test for Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott as they're pushing on in their sophomore campaign. So this one, once again, coming live from Cowboy Stadium, an opportunity for the Cowboys to come out on top and have a winning record currently at 500, once again at 2-2. So to make it 3-2 for them against a big team like Green Bay would be a huge win for them at home. We're going to move into our fourth and final matchup going into Week 5, and that is the Houston Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs. Those Kansas City Chiefs right now
is the game of the week, in my opinion.
I would agree.
Exciting matchup, and Deshaun Watson has got a lot of proving to do since the Chiefs passed on him in the draft. So we'll see how he goes about his business in this game, and we'll see how the outcome of this game. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to watch it, so let's get to it.
Once again, Team Mike, you my boy. You know you my boy. But just thank you for reminding all the Chiefs fans that, yes, they did pass on Deshaun Watson. They could have had this man as their starting quarterback. No disrespect to Alex Smith, because Alex Smith is a great quarterback.
Or Patrick Mahomes. Out of Texas Tech.
Yes. So I mean, they're definitely in a good position. Obviously, they're 4-0, so they're all right. They're playing decent this year. I would say. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're 4-0 once again. They're first in the AFC West. The Texans are 2-2, and they are currently second in the AFC Dirty South. Houston coming off a win against once again the Tennessee Titans by a score of 57-14 in that contest. The Kansas City Chiefs would be winners of their previous contest against the Washington Redskins by a score of 29-20. A huge win for them. Off of a Harris Butker 43-yard field goal, it gave the Kansas City Chiefs a 23-20 lead. And then Justin Houston, being Justin Houston, Hughes on the defensive end, he would score a 13-yard fumble return to seal the win as they would survive against the Redskins. Alex Smith, like we just mentioned earlier, solid once again, 27-37 on pass attempts, 293 yards in that game. Kareem Hunt, once again, showing that he's been an outstanding rookie. 21 carries as well as 101 yards. And Travis Kelce, solid, 7 receptions, 111 yards, and he will once again score in this contest.
How about this? Peaches and Kareem, when he gets up into the scene, he can make the defense miss in the between the tackles. He takes it for a touchdown. That be Kareem. Peaches and Kareem.
Know what I mean? Shout out to 112 though for making a classic back in the 90s indeed, but I gotta give you your props, pretty creative. What do you like about this matchup, by the way?
Well, this is gonna be, my opinion, a dogfight. It's gonna be one of those type of matchups where who's gonna have the ball last and who's gonna make the plays on defense to be able to have their team to be successful and win this game. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs is coming off a little bit of close win here and there, but they have to be very careful not to give the opponent's offense good chance to win games because towards the end of the game, if Dotson would have caught that touchdown pass, it would have been game over in my opinion because he was wide open. You can't leave that person wide open in the end zone, and who knows? It could have been a different outcome if he would have caught that pass. So luckily, of a prey of a football god, he was able to drop the pass. So the defense has to get better, and they have to be able to cause chaos, and especially against a good quarterback like Deshaun Watson, who can break off tackles and so elusive and keeping plays alive. So the front seven has to do a good job of keeping him contained in the pocket. If they can do that, they'll be fine. But the secondary, this will be a challenge for them. The secondary has to step up big, and they have to find a way to make plays on defense. Not make plays on defense, but make plays on the ball and force a 3 and out or get a turnover. If the Chiefs defense continue to do that, then they'll be fine. They'll win the game. Now the offense has to get better because the first half against the Redskins, the offense was not clicking a little bit here and there. It took them a minute to finally click. Once they click on, they never look back. So they have to start fast and finish strong from the first quarter of the game to the fourth quarter end of the game. So they have to find a way to do that. And you also have to find a way to get Travis Kelce involved early and also get Kareem going early in the running game. If you can do that, then that's a recipe for success for the Chiefs to win this game. Now, on defense of the Houston Texans, they have to play 4 quarters of defense because we all seen the first 4 games. In the fourth quarter, the Chiefs outscored their opponents by a wide margin of points, and they're coming off for wins. That's why they're 4-0 for a reason. So the defense has to play very well. They can't let Kareem Hunt run wild all over them. They have to keep him checking the pocket. And you also have to contain the short passing game and force the Chiefs to beat you deep. If you can contain the short passing game, which Andy Reid loves to do, loves to expose you horizontally in the passing game, if you can force that and keep them in check and force them to beat you vertically and take plays down the field, then you have the recipe for success, and you also can force turnovers as well. So the Texans has to do a very good job of that category on defense, and this is a challenge for the secondary to step up. If the secondary steps up, then that'll help out the defensive line and the front seven of the Texans. They'll be fine. For excuse me, not Deshaun Watson, but for the offense, continue to be consistent. Continue to make it easier for Deshaun Watson to make plays, take pressure off of him, run the ball efficiently, get the running game going, and the offensive line has to step up against this good Chiefs front seven. And they have to be the bullets. They have to be physical. If they can do that, they'll be fine. And also, get the receivers fall early. You have finally DeAndre Hawkins was able to go off and get his 100 yards, and he was balling. So if you get him going early and you get the other players going early, then they'll be fine on the offense. They're able to put up some points against this Chiefs defense.
This is definitely a game that I would say if there's a statement that could be made or a phrase that could be used in this game is basically choose your weapon because they both have great defenses. Both of them have a lot of offensive weapons. Deshaun Watson is a one-man wrecking crew in this, so definitely agree with you that this is definitely my favorite game as well. And the Houston Texans are at home, so that could possibly make a difference in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, this actually might have to be the most interesting predictions that we've had to make because all four of these matchups to me are outstanding, and all these teams have something to prove in these matchups that we're going to talk about. So with that being said, the first matchup, the Arizona Cardinals, Philadelphia Eagles. Mike, who you got?
I got the Eagles winning in this game because we don't know which Arizona Cardinals we're going to get. They're still going through identity crisis, and they're not the same team as there once was. So for those reasons, I'm gonna say the Eagles win 30 to 20.
I'm gonna say I like the Eagles as well. I think being at home will also make a difference. 3-1, this team has definitely been for real this season. Carson Wentz has just been outstanding. I
Mm-hmm.
just think at the end, I think too much offense from Philadelphia. I'm gonna give them a score of I'm gonna say 28 to 14 is my score, going by the way the Philadelphia Eagles. The second matchup, interesting matchup. These four matchups, I tell you what, Seahawks, Rams.
I'm gonna go a little limb here. I'm gonna drink the Rams Kool-Aid, and I'm gonna say the Los Angeles Rams will beat the Seattle Seahawks for the first place sole possession of the NFC West division. I gotta drink the Kool-Aid first. All right. Yes, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams because they are playing good football on
Yes.
offense and defense, and special teams is stepping up. And the offense of Seattle Seahawks, I don't see this offensive line playing very well against this front seven of the Los Angeles Rams. It's going to be too much for them to overcome. They're going to cause havoc for the offensive line, and Aaron Donald is just on another level. So, and I don't see the Seahawks making more plays than Los Angeles Rams. But I would say it'll be a close game. But I feel like the Los Angeles Rams will make more plays than the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm gonna give it to Los Angeles Rams to win. I'm gonna say the score of 27 to 17.
Hmm. This one's tough because I really think it depends on who performs better between Jared Goff, who's been fantastic this year. Russell Wilson has been a little inconsistent this year. Once again, can't blame him completely for that. Like you mentioned, I mean, just watching over these weeks, the offensive line is yeah,
Horrendous.
they need work. I think with that being said, I'm going to agree. I wanted to say the Seahawks in this one because they have something to gain in this, facing the number one team in their division. So they definitely want to try to come out with a win. Um, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say something wants me to say the Seahawks. I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to take this one. I think it's going to be extremely close. I'm going to say this one is going to be 28 to 21. I'm going to say Seattle. Jared Goff will be solid in this one. I'm going to say Russell Wilson will be Russell Wilson. I think he'll play big in this one.
All right.
All right, and Packers Cowboys.
I'm going with the Pack. The Dallas Cowboys, are who they are. They're allergic to prosperity still. They are a bad luck in the making, and they're just in an identity crisis, and they will lose again. And Aaron Rodgers is going to find a way to put up points, and a lot of points to expose their defense. So I'm going to say Green Bay Packers blow out the Dallas Cowboys, 38-14 in their house.
Ooh, we Cowboys Nation. Man, man on
I,
Facebook. I want to
I
hear
called
about
it
this.
out last
I
week.
want to hear about this.
I called it out last week for the Rams to beat y'all, and I'm calling out again. The Green Bay Packers will win.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I definitely like just Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's to tell you the truth. I mean, no matter where you're at home or on the road, I'm putting all my trust in Aaron Rodgers. I think he'll be solid. I think they will come up with a big win against the Cowboys, dropping them to 2-3. I'm gonna say it's gonna be an exciting matchup. I'm gonna give them a score of 35-21 is my score. The fourth and final prediction: the Chiefs taking on the Texans. Who do you like?
It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a shootout, in my opinion. But I'm going to side with the history because the Chiefs has find a way to pull it off in the fourth quarter, outscore their opponents. So I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs wins this one 31-24.
31-24. I think that's definitely fair. This is exciting because I can't wait to see how Deshaun Watson, he's at home playing against a proven defense in Kansas City.
Man,
This is exciting. If you're a Chiefs fan, I'm pretty sure they have marked this on their calendars.
and he's got something to prove to the Chiefs because they didn't draft him.
Oh yes. I'm gonna say I think Kansas City will find a way to win this one. I think Alex Smith will be solid. I think also what will be crucial is the performance of Kareem Hunt. If they can get him established on the on the ground, Travis Kelsey's been great as well. This is going to be an exciting game. I know everyone's going to be watching to see what Deshaun Watson does against the Chiefs. I'm going to say the Chiefs come out on top. I'm going to give them a score of 28-14 in this one. I got the Chiefs.
All right.
And that will do it for our predictions and this episode of NFL Endzone.
Social media. You can follow me on Facebook, Gameball College Kickoff / Gameball NFL Endzone. Email gck.gnfle. Send us your emails. And also, if you want a request of games you like to see in matchups, feel free, and
Yes.
we'll see what we can do, and we'll look into it. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at GAMEBALL, BALL, all capitalized, _MYKE, and YouTube, subscribe, GCK.GNFLETV. Your social media?
You can follow me on Twitter at JovelENT as well as on Instagram. Same thing, JovelENT, all one word. And also you can follow me on Facebook under Marcus JovelENT Jenkins. Follow us.
All right. I'm Michael Riley.
And I'm Marcus Young Genius Jenkins.
This is Gameball NFL Insult Podcast by saying have a safe, blessed night and be good. Peace. We are out.